Before drones, tanks, or rifles, warriors trained with grit, instinct, and discipline. Let's go through 10 of the most legendary warrior classes in history. First up, the Spartans. Imagine being taken from your family at 7 years old and thrown into a brutal training system. That was just the beginning of Spartan life. They lived under the Agoge, where pain, silence, and obedience were everyday lessons. At Thermopylae, they stood against an army hundreds of times their size and didn't flinch. That's not just courage, that's discipline forged from childhood. Next, number 2, the samurai. These warriors weren't just deadly, they were deeply principled. Living by the Bushido code, they trained in swordplay, archery, horseback combat, and even poetry. Honor mattered more than survival. They didn't just fight, they embodied purpose. Coming in at number 3, the Roman legionaries. They weren't just soldiers, they were an empire's backbone. Drilled daily, punished harshly, and trained to build roads, siege engines, and order itself. They moved in tight formations, held the line, and spread Roman power across continents. You don't conquer the known world with luck, you do it with discipline. At number 4, the Mongol warriors. These guys were riding horses and hitting targets before most kids could walk. Their archery, speed, and discipline on the battlefield were unmatched. Under Genghis Khan, they built the largest land empire in history.
When you saw their banners on the horizon, it was already too late. Holding the 5th spot, the Janissaries. Taken as boys, raised in silence, forged into weapons, they served the Ottoman Sultan with unwavering loyalty. Luck of gold, cash luck. Long before firearms took over, they were one of the world's first standing armies, deadly, organized, and elite. 6th on the list, the Knights Templar. These weren't just medieval knights, they were warrior monks, sworn to poverty, chastity, and obedience, but deadly with a sword. They defended crusader states and guarded holy relics with unshakable belief. Faith gave them purpose, armor made them dangerous. Number 7, the Persian Immortals. A standing unit of 10,000 elite guards, and when one fell, another took his place immediately. They moved with precision, fought with elegance, and served as the king's personal guard. At Marathon and Thermopylae, they stood at the heart of Persian power. They weren't just soldiers, they were a symbol. Now, let's step into the shadows. Number 8, the ninja. Forget movie tricks, real